On here.
Alright, my name is Anthony Loudermilk. I got a 04 F350 6.0 diesel. Basically bone stock except for an EGR delete and just a couple things like that. Had a little sluggish issue when I first got it. When I first got it, had almost 100,000 miles on it. Started using Arch Oil product. Helped a little bit. I'm not going to say it's helped a ton, but it's helped a little bit. But I still have a stiction problem. So started doing some research and found Mr. Ellis and his product called Turbo Maxx, and gonna give it a try in the 6.0 and see what it does.
All right, you want to let's go ahead and give it a start. We'll just start it up to see how bad it's. Right now it's about 50 degrees out. It's been colder out, and then we're going to do an oil change for him and see how it goes. It's not as bad this morning. It's pretty warm out.
You would really notice it.
You can hear it knocking a little bit now. I imagine if it was 20 degrees out, it'd rock and roll. Yeah. The unfortunate thing about living in North Carolina, or the fortunate thing, is it doesn't get as cold. But the negative side to that is when you got a lot of mornings that it starts like this, you're actually doing more damage for a longer period of time than when you live someplace that's cold and it won't run, and it gets so aggravating that it forces you to fix it sooner. So, all right, well, we'll do an oil change on it here, and then we'll see and let him drive it for a few days. All right, we're back. He's going to go ahead and everybody will want to see him dump it in, because sometimes people don't believe that seeing is believing, I guess.
Looked like your seal was kind of spewing the cap, but that was it. Slowed it down.
I got it.
We've had some customers that get it up in Canada, and I don't know what they do with it, but it's definitely not at room temperature. And they said they go to put that in, and I said, man, that stuff takes forever to run out of the bottle. And we had one of them that was trying to put it in through the dipstick hole. Yeah, no kidding. He says, what do you do with that when you're trying to put it in the dipstick? I said, well, first off, it don't go in the dipstick. Oh. Must not have changed their own oil too often. Then the best way to do that is when you get finished with that, go ahead and put some oil in there and let it sit and shake in there, because every bit of that is worth putting in, because it's so concentrated. Let's put some oil in there and it'll thin it down. And we'll come back in a little bit, let him finish changing oil, and start this thing up for a bit and let it run. Usually takes one warm-up cycle. All right, it's got the oil changed. We're going to go ahead and give it a start. And it's already quieter, isn't it? Once that fuel additive gets up in there, what the fuel additive does is it reduces the temperature of combustion. I had one guy says there's something wrong with my motor, it's so quiet now, it takes the ping out of the motor, and that's hard ignition to make, that's what the ping comes from the compression and trying to fire the diesel fuel. So you'll notice that it'll get quieter than that even yet, because that ping will start to go away, and it's your piston, it's your knock, and that'll be because of the fuel additive. It reduces the cylinder temperature at the core of the explosion by 400 degrees. So yeah, that's a lot quieter.
A whole lot quieter.
Well, you happy so far?
Happy so far.
All right, well,
Try here.
we'll get back with you after you've driven it a little bit. It shouldn't be, you should be a very noticeable difference. I'll bet you'll be able to tell a difference by the time you get back from your dad's today. Yeah. All right, well, we'll get back with you and finish this up and put it on YouTube. All right? All right, we're back. We're gonna, it's 6 days in. Hasn't been too terribly cold. It was Thursday.
Yeah, it was Thursday.
So tell us a little bit about what you've experienced over the last week of driving.
So over the last week of driving, Troy was here. We put Turbo Maxx in the oil. We put the ZDDP in the transmission, and we're also running the fuel line. And so far, on just a short driving stint, I noticed automatically on the ZDP in the transmission, noticed it was shifting smoother and better than it's ever done before. After running the Turbo Maxx for a little while, I noticed my stiction issue is not there. I don't have it anymore. I can start it up, at lunchtime or in the mornings, and I can maybe let it run for maybe a minute, and then I can take right off without any hesitation. Used to, I needed to let it sit for 15 minutes to warm up, just so I could even go without a hesitation.
When you use the other products, what kind of results? I mean,
I used other products. I used Arch Oil, and it did not help stiction problem at all. If it did, it was a very minute, and you couldn't tell it.
Right.
When I would leave for lunch from work, I would have to let it sit, maybe 5 minutes running, and take off, and it would still have a hesitation. So far with the Turbo Maxx, I can crank it up at lunch and take right off, and no hesitation.
That's good.
I can only imagine the further we go along with this product, the better it's going to do for me.
Yeah, the longer you run it, generally, it's a time thing. It can only do so much as it can do, depending on how severe the problem is. And if there's any permanent damage to the metal parts, obviously it can't fix that. It's not magic, but compared to some other things, people call it snake oil quite often, and this and that. But generally, that's people that have never tried it, used it, or know anybody that has.
Well, I'm one that does a lot of research, and like I said, I found your product, and so far, if anybody's looking for a solution or need help motor oil wise or running wise, try Turbo Maxx. It's really good stuff. All
right. Well, we appreciate it. I'm pretty confident that things will continue to stay so long as this doesn't permanently fix a truck. This is a band-aid for an engineering problem between oil and an engine manufacturer. So some people think that they can put something like this in, run it for a little while, and then the problem's gone. Well, eventually it will come back again because you change. You haven't fixed the process. You fix the process once and then let it go bad again. So. It's a continual, to enjoy this kind of a truck, that's just a general maintenance cost, or fuel injectors.
Oh, exactly.
And I'm pretty sure that
fuel injectors on a power stroke are not cheap.
Yeah, and this, you should get better fuel mileage, and if nothing else, you're going to double your oil change interval. So it costs you, I'm sure it costs you more than $55 for oil.
Yes, it does.
And the time to do it, I've got that car over there. And I did the mileage from when I did it last. I told you it was 30-some thousand. It's actually at 40,000. So probably tomorrow, I'm going to get the oil kit out, and we're going to change oil at it and send it into an independent lab and see what it's like after 40,000 miles.
I noticed, as far as fuel mileage, I can't go 100% on that yet. But as of right now, I used to get anywhere from 12.8 to 13.2 in this truck. I did notice after a few days running the Turbo Maxx and the fuel treatment that I did get up to 14.4, but then I started feeling a little bit of performance gain, so then I started playing. So my mileage just went back down. I've got to let the performance just stay in the motor and not under my foot.
Yeah, because people don't believe that it's actually something that has this much power. If you make a 10% gain on something that has 600 horsepower, they just gave you another 60 horsepower to play with.
Yeah,
and you can feel it. So.
Yeah, I can definitely tell the difference.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Works for me.
All right. Well, we appreciate your time, and if you need anything in the future, just let us know. We'll be glad to help you out, or information, or whatever. Thank you.